What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Today I'm going Champions of Russ builds that I've been playing with and enjoying. I think I've been doing fairly well with. Um, so I did Stormlance at the last 8-man, which was around my last videos. Was talking prepping the Stormlance. The team did well the first day, not so well the next day, but Stormlance does what it does. It's very, you know what it does. There's not a lot of tricks. I mean, there's tricks, but I mean, there's not a lot of options in the build. You bring a bunch of Thunderwolves and sprinkle a couple things around it. So I got a little bored with that. So I've been playing around with the Champions of Russ. There are lots and lots of options. So I'll just show you kind of what I've been playing with. So let me go ahead and bring up new recruit, and we'll show you what we've been playing around with. So this will be, first I'll build the first version of the list, and then I have tweaked it since. So we had Logan. Does it give me an option for Warlord? No, there it is. Yeah. So Logan is the Warlord. So I don't use New Recruit a lot. I normally use the GW app on my phone. Then we ran Murderfang. Love me some Murderfang. Bjorn Canis. We had Yulrik the Slayer. We had Ragnar. Where's Ragnar? And we had a Chaplain with Jump Pack. If I forgot anybody, we'll come back up here and I don't know if we did. I'm building this off memory. So, oh yeah, we have a captain. Obviously, we have the Black Death captain. All right, there we go. I knew there was someone else. All right, so obviously Logan's Warlord. None of the named characters could take anything special. Don't do anything with the what's a captain with a jump back? I want Chaplain with a jump back. Chaplain with jump back. There he is. Right, so nothing on the Chaplain with jump back. Obviously, we give him the Black Death. You can kit them out a lot of ways. The way I personally like to kit mine out is with the Relic Shield and the Mastercrafted Power Weapon because it gives him the most attacks. Because I use his unit kind of as a grenade. That way I can do the most mortals possible on his go turn, our finest hour turn. And then he's a lot less effective on any other turn, but I really use them to go activate the Beast Slayer saga as early as possible. And then they kind of die after that normally, but that's fine. That's what he does in the list. And I find that working well for me. We run Assault Intercessors with him. Kit them however you want. So I'm not going to go through all the warrior options. I give my Sergeant a Power Fist. Then I was running a squad of Blood Claws with Yulrik. So just the 10-man. Oh, and I had a Wolfguard Pack Leader and Terminator armor with them. I gave him Thunderhammer Storm Shield. I think that's probably the best build for attaching him to them. Then we had Assault Intercessors with Jump Pack. I was running a 10-man. Let's go ahead and pump this up to 10. There we go. You can give the Sergeant Power Fist. You can take a Plasma Pistol, him, and one guy in the squad, which I do. I'm not going to do all that on here, but those are good things to do. We ran one squad of Blade Guard. 6-man, they run with Ragnar. Then we had, what else did we have in this list? I built this list a couple weeks ago. I've done playtesting and I've tweaked it slightly since then. But I'm going to go to the base list and then talk you guys through what I've changed since then. Oh, we have a scout squad. We have 2 infiltrator squads. The scouts, missile, sniper rifle, you can put some of the war gear in there. Infiltrators, you want to give them the feel no pain and stuff. All right. So on this app, so we're down 500 points. All right. So mounted, there's no Thunderwolves in this list. No beasts. Vehicles, we do run a Land Raider Redeemer, wherever he is. Right there. Hunter Killer, all that stuff on him. The Yulrik squad goes in here with a 10-man and him and the Terminator. They take up 13 slots, so you can't really run much else with them. Where are dedicated transports? They're down here. And then we run 2 impulsors. One for the Captain squad, one for Ragnar squad. And then that leaves us 70 points. And in my original version of this list, we did have a Phobos Librarian running with one of the Infiltrator squads. All right, so that takes us to our 2,000 points. So you got Logan, Murderfang, Ragnar, who runs with Blade Guard, Yulrik, who runs with Assault and Blood Claws and a Pack Leader and Terminator Armor, Captain with Assault Intercessors, Chaplain with a 10-man Jump Pack Squad, Librarian running with Infiltrators, and this is the Pack Leader with Yulrik. Excuse me. I ate some lunch. There's something still in my. All right, so I really like the impulsors. Once you get stuff where you want it to be, they're great for doing objectives, holding objectives, doing secondaries, move blocking, getting in charges to take away Overwatch from stuff you don't want getting overwatched. There's lots of tactical things you can do with impulsors once they're empty, because really not super easy to kill. And once their payload's out, people aren't really going to put a lot of time into killing them most of the time, just because they don't have a lot of damage threat, and you have all these meaty units on the table for them to deal with. The 2 Infiltrator squads really just shut your whole back half of the table down, which is great for stopping secret missions, great for stopping a lot of secondaries, like behind enemy lines, sabotage, establish locus. It really makes it hard for people to score those, especially early in the game on your side of the table. And it really limits people dropping behind you to counter you. So you can really shut down almost half the board from worrying about reserves coming behind you, which really, really lets you be aggressive with your push when you want to be. Redeemers are, I find, amazing. Land Raiders aren't that easy to kill. Every once in a while you hit some lists that just pick them up easier than you're used to, but normally they stick around a while, and the Overwatch from the Flamestorm cannons really terrifies most people's infantry. So you position it around mid-board normally, and it really just gives something for people to think about. Scouts, infiltrate, scout move, uppy downy, great for playing missions, great for screening your enemy. I love having at least one scout unit. Blade Guard, and the rest of these units all hit pretty hard. So I ran this, and then it did pretty well. I beat a Knights list against a very good player up in Virginia, where I was at. And then after the game, him and I talked, and we came to the decision that the Phobos Librarian really wasn't needed. So I dropped him and ended up taking a Combi Lieutenant with Combi Weapon for the same points. Which I was like, all right, that's cool, because I ran the Phobos Librarian before back in the day, and the little trick with him and the Infiltrators is cool. But I found back then the Infiltrators really don't get targeted or threatened enough, especially when I run 2 squads, to really need him. So it's kind of almost a waste of 70 points. So drop that. Combi Lieutenant is good for actions. He infiltrates. He's got his reactive move. So then I played this twice into Black Templars, and it did pretty solid. Then I was watching Dan Cardona from Hobby Goblins play into Demons on their stream, and he was running Yolak with Wolfguard, with Storm Shields, and they get +1 to hit when attached to a character. So looking into it, mathing it out, I came to the decision that, all right, so probably if I'm going to run Yolak, drop the Blood Claws for the Wolfguard, the Blood Claws and the Pack Leader for the Wolfguard. But I didn't actually didn't actually end up putting that on the table. What I put on the table next was I did still drop Yulrik, and I dropped the Pack Leader, and then I dropped the Blood Claws. What I ended up adding was a regular chaplain. See if I can find him. And I attached him to a squad of Blade Guard. And that gave me 10 points. Oh, excuse me. And it's like, all right, I got 10 points. What can I do that? So what I ended up doing was dropping the lieutenant with a combi weapon and trying out some Hounds of Mordecai because they're 80 points. Now, if you run into a Psyker list, they are really, really good. Otherwise, they're really just units that deploys regular and can scout. So I played 2 games with this version of the list, one into Gladius Dark Angels and one into Hypercrypt Necrons, which was running 5 CTANs. And so both these lists were really, really tough to deal with. Both had a lot of minus damage and stuff like that. So I was like, all right. So the Blade Guard really get nerfed when you have the -1 damage. Murderfang did okay into the Gladius Dark Angels, but he just did nothing into the CTAN. I was like, all right, so how can I improve into those builds? The -1 damage. So that's where I was thinking, all right, maybe go back toward Wolfguard because they are only 1 damage to begin with. So -1 or half damage doesn't really affect them. And I'm like, all right, so my first thought was to drop the Blade Guard and the Chaplain to put them back in. But then I was like, all right, let me think here. Murderfang is really hit or miss. He's not reliable. When he goes off, it's amazing. But against really good players, they don't really let you get him into a good position most of the time. So I was like, all right, so he's the exact same points as a squad of Wolfguard. All right, so we'll drop him for the Wolfguard. And then we will drop the Hounds of Mordecai and get Yulrik. All right, so now we go down here and we will add the squad of Wolfguard. This list I'm testing later today. I haven't actually put it on the table yet, but once I'll explain it in a minute, but I'm actually really, really excited about this. So we run Wolfguard, 10-man. We are going to drop their pistols for shields, but once again, I won't do that on the app, but we're going to drop those pistols for shields. And then we're going to add Yulrik back. Where are you, Yulrik? Oh, up in the names characters. All right, so that puts us 10 points down. So Yulrik with 10 Wolfguard is 11. So if they're still in the Land Raider, nothing else can ride with them. And so that would mean either Ragnar, the captain, or the chaplain would be on foot. I'm like, all right, I don't like that. So what I can do is put the captain in the chaplain's unit in the Land Raider, keep Ragnar in the Impulsor, turn the other Impulsor into a Rhino that can carry Yulrik's squad. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add the Rhino. And then we're going to drop the Impulsor. It's all down here. All right, so we'll drop one of the Impulsors. For the Impulsors, I run with Shield Dome. And so that puts us 15 points down. There's not much we can do with 15 points. So it's like, all right, I can take Frost Weapon and give one of the 2 chaplains Frost Weapon. So I was debating which ones I thought it was better in. I thought it would be better on the generic chaplain. Because if you look at it, where's our Frost Weapon? He gets precision, which is nice, and he also gets +1 strength and AP. So that takes him to AP 2/2 damage, which is the same as the rest of Blade Guard. So it's really nice to keep that consistency through there. Then he goes to strength 7 and precision. So I just thought that was why I chose him over the Jump Pack Chaplain. Because with the Mortals and the amount of attacks, I don't think they need it as much as the Blade Guard might, just for the type of stuff I normally send them into. So now, this list, you have the Scouts, Infiltrators, Impulsor, Rhino. So Scouts, Infiltrators do the same thing. The Impulsor does what it was doing. Rhino kind of does the same thing. And then the Land Raider now has 2 squads in it instead of 3. So basically, I drop Murderfang and Hounds of Mordecai, and I gain Yulrik with the Wolfguard. and Frost Weapon. So I'm technically go from I lose 2 units to gain 1, but Murder Fang being OC 0, so it's not like he was doing a lot of actions or secondary or holding objectives really anyway, unless you want to try to spend CP on him, which I didn't really find worth it. So I really think I'm going to like this more with the Land Raider in the middle, having 2 units able to threaten out of it, with the Impulsor and the Rhino threatening flanks in most situations. I'm really thinking this is going to be a pretty solid list that really takes advantage of what Champions of Russ does. Just all this combat, just all the buffs in Champions of Russ are pretty much for combat. Other than the Land Raider shooting, I haven't really been putting a lot of shooting in my Wolf's lists lately. I find when I try to tech too many points into shooting, it just really makes the list start to become ineffective, because the shooting doesn't have the buffs in Champions of Russ it might in other detachments. And so when it bounces and doesn't do anything, which occasionally happens with shooting, I just find I wish I had more combat units. And this lets me threaten the table and just feels more like a Space Wolf army to me, how I enjoy playing them. But that's just my preferences. I will let you guys know how this list does when I play it. Well, I'm recording this Sunday, but I already released a video this morning, so I may not release this till later. So maybe Monday or something. But we're going to have the attachments every day, so I'll probably just release it today on Sunday, maybe later in the day. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that. I'm going to try to be on here more consistently now that I've got my work and moving and all that stuff figured out. But thank you guys, and I will catch you later.